welcome to Lexi's Healthy Dynamic Life podcast. I am your host, Lexi, and on today's episode, we have the pleasure of interviewing a good friend of mine, AJ, who I met at the Woodstock Fruit Festival and reconnected with at the Pranic Fruit Festival this year. He's a 28-year-old raw vegan. He's been vegan for 7 years and has overcome so much, including issues with being underweight. So let's give him a warm welcome. AJ, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, Lexi, thanks for having me. I always love these kinds of things, interviews and podcasts.
I remember you
I'm
mentioning
excited.
that, that you really love podcasts. What is it that you love about podcasts?
Actually, I love long form conversation. I think it's the best way to really express yourself and to really connect with another person and get to deep understandings of each of you. Like there's a real breakthrough, I think, when it's not this time crunch.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I'm really excited. When you shared that perspective with me, it really opened up my mind about these episodes and how long they go. And it's okay to really dive deep and get to know you. And I just really appreciate your willingness to share this with all of our listeners today too. So where are you calling from?
So I live in Morristown, New Jersey. Morristown actually was voted nicest town to live in the United States at one point, so it's not a bad area. It's not the best area either, but can't complain.
And you have a juice there. What's in your juice?
Mm. All right, I'll try to remember it all. Charred kale, celery, cilantro, turmeric. Did I say ginger, apple, lemon, lime, something like that?
Wow, that's a lot of ingredients. Is that your typical
Or
first meal or?
usually what I do is yeah, I have like a glass bottled spring water, like a high quality one, like Aquapana. I love it. It's really smooth, and people actually, it's funny because people will like say, "Oh my God, you spend $1.50 on water every day," and like kind of harp on it. Like, but I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out to eat, all these things, and like $1 for a good water, it doesn't seem like that big a deal to me. If anything, they should shame me about the green juice because I spend so much on green juice. But yeah, I usually drink green juice all day.
Nice. And can you tell us how you got into drinking juice, how you got into raw foods? What led you to come to where you are now?
After graduate, like I had some digestive issues and anxiety issues in high school. And then I moved around a little bit after high school to Tennessee. And I moved back to Jersey. And my health was just kind of falling apart. I was having like really cold hands and feet, arthritis in my hands. My thyroid was low, had no energy, constipation. I actually had blood in my stool. Insomnia, I would only sleep every third day. And if I fell asleep, it was like 6 a.m. So not in a good spot. And then I met this woman actually, and I was bedridden. I wasn't working or anything. I was like 21 years old or something. And I met this woman, Isabella, and I went and stayed at her house for a week. She was a family friend. I went with my family member, and within 7 days, every single problem was gone. All my inflammation, all my anxiety, all my sleep, all my digestive issues. I started having 3 regular bowel movements. I was still eating Chinese food, pizza, tater tots, all these things. And it really showed me that my stress was like a huge, huge factor. And as soon as I left that area and went home, within 20 minutes, I was like tight again. And I was like, I know I got to get out of here. So I actually moved to a different house in the same town, and things were better, but I was still searching for that, good. I just want to feel good again. I'm 21. I was gifted this amazing body, and I couldn't handle the simplest of things, anxiety attacks, all this stuff. So I started started looking in more into health as far as nutrition goes. I found the Rich Roll podcast. He always had my interest. I really like Rich Roll. And I listened to an interview with Mike Arnstein, and I had already started drinking the good quality water, and I started watching Mike Arnstein, who he's the founder of the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And I listened to his interview, and this guy was a runner. He is a runner, and I was a runner in high school, so he already had my interest there. But he also just sounded so energized and so healthy, and his diet sounded awesome. Like, it sounded, I had my worries, but then I heard him talk, and I'm like, this is it. And I just started eating like apples and tomatoes and all those kinds of things, and feeling a lot better, feeling really good actually. And and then at the night though, I would be eating chicken fingers and French fries because I was starving. So after I blew through all the content of Mike Arnstein on YouTube and his podcast interviews, I eventually put Fruitarian into YouTube, and I found the Durian Rider video, Harley Johnstone, and I was like, this guy has answers to questions. He's not just talking broadly. Like, he is like, eat this much, drink this much, sleep this much. You know, chocolate has caffeine. You know, make sure your B12 levels are good. And I was just stoked, and I devoured his information. And I learned a lot about myself and a lot through Harley. A lot. I went vegan. I was eating pretty much like 20 bananas a day, and then having rice for dinner, feeling good. And yeah, that was like the beginning of the whole veganism thing.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and then like I traveled around and went to Europe and to Sweden and Germany, Denmark, Poland, France as well. And when I came back, I kind of underate there, not on purpose, but just it was hard to get enough food. And when I came back, I was like binge eating like crazy, like 6,000 calories. I got fat for the first time in my life, what I thought was fat, 180 pounds. Felt terrible, was in and out of the hospital. No one knew what was wrong. They thought it was within my head or whatever. But looking back, it was like I went from 2,000 calories to 6,000. Like, for your metabolism, that's like, getting punched in the face and then getting hit with a sledgehammer. Like, it's too much. So I was facing all kinds of physical issues, but eventually I got out of it. And I eventually moved into this apartment that I'm in now in 2015. And within a week, that same woman that when I spent the week with her recovered, like being around her recovered my health. We started dating, and it all fit together perfectly. Like, I was finally where I wanted to be. I finally was independent, and I had actually known her for like, I don't know, a couple of years before that. And I just always had this really special feeling with her. And what's funny is when I think back, that week we spent together, I seen the first shooting. This is so cheesy. I seen the first shooting star I ever seen, and I wished on it. And I was just like, and I never told anyone at the time, but I was like, I just would like a chance with this woman. Like, I really felt something special towards her. And yeah, we started hanging out, and then we started dating. We took it so slow. We didn't even kiss, I think, until like 3 months in. We just would spend like 8 hours a day just laying together and talking together and just really getting to know each other. And yeah, pretty quickly I knew that I loved her. And eventually we both expressed the love. And then I think like 6 months down the road, we were both virgins at the time. We like made love for the first time, and like we were together 3 years, and there was a lot of really good stuff, and there was some bad stuff that happens. And to fast forward through that, eventually towards the end, I started getting sick. I started never sleeping. I was working 2 jobs and just being up late and eating bad. We'd go out to eat a lot, and my health fell apart. And along with that, my emotions fell apart, and my stress overtook me. And I let it all happen. I let it just go on. And then I built up a lot of guilt in the relationship because I wasn't being a good partner. I had, I was like, eventually I was working less because physically I couldn't handle it. So, like, monetarily and health wise and just energy wise, and making her feel good, and even sexual, like, I didn't have much of a sex drive because my weight was going down and I was getting sicker. So I didn't really have a high view of myself towards the end. And I actually opened up to her and said, like, listen, I don't want you to stay with me if it's because you feel bad, like if you want to ride out, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I could die, and I didn't want her to just have to feel like she's my caretaker, because it was starting to become that. She was starting to become like the person who drove me around, the person that did these things. So she said like, listen, I'm in this with you. Like I want, I'm going to hold out and all these things. And then like a week later, she did leave me. And it was like 5 days before Woodstock Fruit Festival. So I go to Woodstock Fruit Festival for the first time, my heart broken in the worst place of my life physically as well. And I'm just surrounded by all these people who are really, really like listen to me and seem to give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can curse on here. Seem to care. And it was an amazing feeling. Like that year at Woodstock 2018 was like a fairy tale type thing where it's just like, I don't know, you can't really explain, I guess, unless you feel it. And I left that place feeling empowered. But even after coming home, my health was continuing to deteriorate, and I was in and out of the hospital 3 or 4 times a week for a few months. Eventually, started getting a little stronger. I started drinking green juice, and I had a consult with Dan McDonald, DTM Life Regenerator, the guy on YouTube, and he's like, I deal with a lot of fruitarians and breatharians and all these people who try to heal that way, and he's like, listen, you're as depleted as you could be. You have no minerals. You need some amino acids. Like protein isn't the thing that's going to destroy your kidneys. Yeah, if you're eating high protein meat diet all the time, that's going to destroy your kidneys. But to get some raw, living, healthy, essential fats and things, it's going to help you a lot. And so I started drinking green juice. I got out of the hospital, started doing better and better. Of course, I've had my binges, and then I mean, obviously it wasn't just like, oh, I went up, but I stopped waking up every day crying because of myself realizing that it was all real. Like I'd wake up and cry because it's like, this is all real every day, all this pain, all this kidney pain. I was 6 foot tall, 112 pounds. That's not good. That's really, really bad. In every way, like the way I felt, the way I looked, the way I felt about myself, my confidence, all these things. My weight was going. Eventually I started actually eating cooked food again too, and even though I ate 19 baked potatoes in one sitting actually, and like I could not get my weight up. Weight would not go up. I was like 130 pounds doing that kind of stuff. I knew that I needed to focus on three big things. That's how I was going into 2020. It was like I wanted to become as independent as I could. I wanted to continue to improve my health, and what was it? And I want to create the environment. I want to continue to better my environment, including like where I live, where I work, those types of things. So I haven't been all raw this year exactly, but a majority, I would say 95% of the year I've been raw. And then and I was working at it and getting better, but I was also getting gallbladder attacks. Like being so low fat for so long and then including lots of fats, I started getting like inflammation in my upper like liver area, and I didn't know what it was at the time. But then as soon as I would have any fat, it's like I would have this terrible excruciating pain. And I don't want to just get my gallbladder taken out. And that was a real issue. Even when I would it got so bad to where I could eat an apple, and that stress on my digestive system could trigger an attack, and I wouldn't sleep. It was just really bad. And the number one thing that got me out of it was green juice. That was scary because it was like, what do I eat? I felt like I was trapped. Like it was hard to. I actually, what the one food I could eat that I didn't have issue with was bananas. So I could have like a 20 banana smoothie. I would have physical negative effects with it because it's hard for me to handle all the sugar with my adrenal issues. But at least it wasn't triggering that inflammation. So on June 10th, June 10th, I made a conscious decision. Is actually my cousin Sammy's birthday, to really start taking care of myself. I have the time, I have the money, I just have to get focused. And, those focuses were like go to bed early, continue to save money, those original three things, and just really dial in on the diet. So I made the commitment to drink really good pure water. Like, that's important to me. I don't care if it costs $2 a day or $5 a day, whatever. I'm going to drink good water. And then I'm also going to drink green juice. And I'm going to drink green juice all day, 2 to 4 liters or more, depending on how I feel. And I'm going to there's this company called Pyridine. They have like enzymes, probiotics, and they have like a raw vegan protein. And I committed to using those as well, because I had another consult with that guy, Dan McDonald. I was still kind of underweight, and I want to get my weight up to at least my normal, which is 150. And then I would like to be at 160. So since then, it's been like 130 days. I've stuck to majority of that. Pure water, green juice, salads with this. I make like a raw vegan hummus type thing. And my weight has gone up despite it being low calories, I went from 2 to 3,000 calories to probably around 1,000 calories, but my weight has gone up 15 pounds in the last 3 months, and I'm continuing to lose body fat. I wasn't fat, but I had like skinny fat. I'm continuing to lose body fat and then gain muscle. And it just shifts everything I know about weight gain and health and things, because I always was a calorie mentality to get enough. And now my calories are lower, but my muscle mass is going up and my skin is getting clear. Like, it's always been decently clear, but I'm getting more of like a glow. My hair is getting thicker. My sex drive is like, feels really good. It feels really strong. And I just I'm going to continue, and it's just going to get stronger and better. I think that's a good sign of vitality. And that kind of leads up to the Pranic Festival. The Pranic Festival, where I got to see and talk with you again. I got to meet some new people, get to see a lot of people I either talked to all year or I've met before. And it usually takes me a few days to warm up to people, because I spend all year by myself. Well, not all year. I hang out with family and stuff, but new people. And then by day 3, I feel like I'm finally opening up and talking with people. And that's why Woodstock's really good, because I still have another 3 or 4 days where this one was over. And I spent some really good time and some really close, special time with someone in particular, and then a lot of other people as well. And afterwards, I actually had 7 people come and stay with me, or 8 people, at my little studio apartment. And we just, we're going to Arnold's Way. We're just having fun, hanging out, playing stupid games and whatever. And I had some craziness after that for a little while. And I'm finally, the last like 10 days or so, like back in my element of like, all right, like, what am I doing with my life? How do I need to be taking care of myself that I haven't been? And, where do we go from here? That's kind of till now.
And what are the answers to those questions? What do you want to do with your life? Where to go from here?
With COVID in March, I lost my job. I was a delivery driver, and I fell into this other job. I do sales in Delaware for like these electronic vape things. I only make for what I sell, so I get a commission, and that's going out right now. It was more just because I wasn't having anything else to come in. I wasn't proud, and it's not like I love this job, but it's something to make money so that I can drink my green juice and different stuff. I've been a personal trainer and a coach for the local high school. I love interacting with people, and I love coaching, and I think that I have a real eye how to guide people in kind of where they want to get. And actually, there's some people on Instagram that I do coach, and a lot of it's just free. A lot of it's like trading service, but I'm really sharpening my skill. I actually also really enjoy doing body work. So that was another thing when people were at my house, or when I've been dating, is I do a lot of massages. And I think that I have a really natural ability for it. I kind of grew up giving my mom like neck massages as a kid, because she was a single mom. She would work all day, and I'd take away her headaches. So I think that that's where I got used to, I got really used to like being in tune and using my hands to help people. So I don't know. I'm very interested in learning more about massage. I don't know how it's going to be with like all the masks and all the, schools and vaccines and different things. So it's something to think about. But I do want to be a health coach. I do want to make my money online, counseling people, giving people, some reassurance that it's okay to take health into your own hands as long as you feel like you're being safe, as long as you feel like, if you want to work with a doctor. I have a old friend who's kind of like a mentor to me, where we will take people's blood results, help them to understand them, because they never really get to do that with their professions, and then we will work with doctors as well. So I think that yeah, so online business is a real thing, a real big thing for me, a real big interest. I actually just bought a MacBook Pro, um, and I got some interesting projects coming up. I'm actually not going to share them at this moment because it's still in the works. But there's some, by the end of the year, some pretty exciting things are going to be happening with a close friend of mine. So we're going to be working on that together. And I would love to mix it up. I like to have two or three things to have income coming in. I think that keeps it fresh. Like, let's say you're making your money online. It's also nice to meet up with people in person, or do some physical work, or do some computer work. And to have that variety keeps it from feeling like, oh, I hate being on the computer all day, or I hate working outside all day. It's like, it's that nice balance. I would love 2 to 3 incomes. Like I do some things with another friend of mine, like eBay type reselling stuff, and that's pretty cool, but it's not really fulfilling.
And aside from shifting your focus as far as your efforts and your work and career go, is there anything that you want to focus on in terms of your health, adding to your self-care regimen or routine?
Yeah, so one of the biggest mistakes that I've made is trying to do 500 things in a day, because not everything complements itself. And I've had to really like accept that, because I know so many things that are quote unquote great for you, but you can't mix them all together necessarily. I'll give you a breakdown of like the basics of what I do, and then some things that I would like to do in the future. Um, Pure water is one of them. I go for an hour walk every morning to just, I would like to build a good foundation on my legs, because I eventually want to run a 100-mile race. And ultra marathoners have told me, like, start walking as much as you can just to have that strength in your legs. So I plan on going from 1 hour a day, which is 3 miles about, to eventually 5 miles a day, and then the end goal being 10 miles a day average of walking every morning. I like to wake up at 5 a.m. I predominantly, most of the time, 98% of the time, eat a raw vegan diet, organic. Drink as much green juice as I want, take enzymes, continue to clean my gut, and just feel more at peace. Or not even just at peace, just feel more alive. You know, peace is almost overrated. I just want to feel full of life. I want to feel full of energy. I want to have that color in my face. I want my baby blue eyes back, if that's possible. I want to be 160 pounds. I'm 150 right now. I just want to feel strong, have strong posture, strong sex drive. I want to get back into a little bit of boxing like I used to do. I want to get into running as well. I want to make money. Oh wait, that's not. We're talking about health goals. I do hot cold showers every day, and once a week I do ice baths, and I'm up to 54 pounds at 7 minutes of ice and cold water. So I plan to get to 100 pounds if my body can handle that. When I was sick, my hair got really thin. It's a lot thicker now, but I really want to get as much circulation and just have that really thick hair. And like, I don't want to go gray, so I want to make sure my minerals and all those things are being taken to try to keep me good. I want to sleep like a king. I want to sleep every night, just hit the pillow, I'm out, and I want to earn that sleep. I want to be strong. I used to bench, when I was 150 pounds, I used to bench like 225 pounds, which usually it's good if you can bench your own body weight. And that's like my body weight and a half. So I want to get strong again, and I want to work on my confidence and work on my education and just begin to be very diverse and just learn more about life. I've been too caught up in the health. I want to learn a lot of different things and just find my queen. I think true love is like such a thing, not to live for, but when you have it, boy, do you feel alive.
You mentioned that having good quality water is something that's really important to you. How do you measure the quality or the pureness of the water that you select?
I've used all types of like reverse osmosis filters, distillers, distilled water, plastic jugs, zero filter, all the pure filter, all these types of things. My unscientific response is like when I'm drinking aquapana, which I'm gonna grab, I'll still be talking. I always have a desire to drink it. Whereas other waters, I kind of drink it because I know I should, or because I know it's good for me, or my digestion will be a little better. But I have green juice in the bottle. This is the one I drink. It's so smooth, and my body is like, it's almost like a tree. It's like, yes, it wants to drink it. And I kind of go by that, the smoothness, the cleanness. It's in glass. Someone was telling me even yesterday that Italy supposedly has like the lowest contaminants in the water supply. It so happens to be from Italy. Not that I really care, but it's just a good water that my body actually wants. So that's kind of the reason why I drink that one.
And you mentioned that when you were shifting from being underweight to gaining weight on such a low calorie diet
Right.
and burning fat and building muscle, what else were you doing at the time? Were you doing any specific form of resistance training or exercise that led to putting on muscle?
So no, actually, like I said, I've been on this routine about 130 days, and up until day 100, I wasn't even doing the walking or anything because I was still physically not that strong to be able to handle the workouts. One of the biggest parts and challenges of what I was sick with, the real name is hard to say. It's called man on fire disease. And basically my brain and my organs and my legs and arms would be on fire, feel like they're on fire. And the inflammation and the dizziness that would create and the pain that would create is like nothing that I could ever explain. In the wintertime, I would still have the air conditioner on because I was so hot. And when you have brain inflammation, it's like it's hard to think, it's hard to, it feels like you're not getting oxygen anywhere. So exercise has never been the number one priority. It's been to two things: clean out the body and restore the body. I feel like every camp is like all about building muscle and you know, eating protein and building and building. And every other camp is about fasting and cleaning and getting skinny. And no one's like, all right, let's clean the body, but let's restore it. And that's my take on it. So yeah, the weight was pure nutrition based and lifestyle and sleep and giving my glands what they need. I see it as I gave my body what it needed to reach its balance point. But now, the last 3 weeks, I've been doing those walks and I've been doing something called the 4 minute workout, which I tell you about at Pranic or no?
No.
Okay, so Dr. Zach Bush created this easy program that's really awesome. So it usually only takes 2 or 3 minutes, but you do it 3 times a day. It uses all 16 major muscles. It puts you in a state of fat burning for the next 3 to 4 hours. So even if you're sitting down, metabolism's still going and you're still burning fat. It increases oxygen to your brain, your organs, your kidneys, your glands, all those things. It increases blood flow. It strengthens your tendons, your ligaments, your joints, and you do it 3 times a day. So that let's say you do it you're burning fat for 3 or 4 hours, you do it again, another 3 or 4 hours, you do it again. So all day you're in this metabolic state. And so I went to the video and I was reading the comments, and people are saying like, I thought this was bullcrap, but I've been doing it the last month and I'm going twice as long on the bike, or like my legs feel like steel cables. They're so strong, and my posture's improving. So I've been doing that the last 3 weeks, and I feel so much stronger. Even though my weight is the same, like I was saying, my body fat seems a little down. I don't know if it's necessarily because of that, but my muscle, my chest and stuff, they do feel like stronger. And it's just something easy that anyone can do and still see results. And I really like it. But I am planning on, I don't know if you can see the weights. I am
Mm.
planning on lifting and getting into that. I'm just trying to transition as best I can because I get so eager that I might like overdo it, and you know that can kill motivation and the momentum a little bit. So I want to feel strong and then go into it properly.
Very cool. And so, what do you think led to the initial unintended weight loss?
I was doing Robert Morris's protocol at one point, which is like fruit, just short, daily dry fast of like 12 hours, herbs and teas. And I was seeing really, really good results. And by month 4, I'm like, I already feel so good, but I know I have a lot of work to do. Like and I don't mean that in like a restrictive way or anything, but more like I have inflammation in places, but I feel really good now. But I know there's more progress to be made. So I was doing so well that when Thanksgiving rolled around, I had Thanksgiving with Isabella's family. And I was like, treat myself, the treat myself mentality. So they did a whole vegan Thanksgiving, and I must have ate 8,000 calories. And then I binged for the next 6 weeks on garbage. And then when I finally got enough motivation, I went back to what I was doing, the program I designed based on some of his teachings, but I wasn't the same person anymore. It wasn't the good thing to do, and it wasn't the right thing to do. And my body was just fermenting all those sugars, and I was bloated, and I had lesions on my hands, and I couldn't think, and my legs were swollen. And I just stuck to it though. I'm like, no, fruit's the answer, fruit's the answer. And I just stayed 100% fruitarian. And eventually I just started getting infections and all these things. And people think I got skinny from fasting, but I was actually eating fruit, and I was eating as much as I could, but my body, I don't think, was utilizing any of it properly. And I was just peeing so much of it out. I'd pee like 50 times a day. So I know you lose sugars through urine if there's an excess, or it can't absorb it. So that's what led to my weight loss. Yeah.
And then you found green juice.
Green juice, staff of life. Yeah.
So, why green juice? Why not just fruit juice or just veggies? How do you come up with the perfect green juices?
So it's a common thing in the fruit diet to ferment, in my opinion. So fermenting would be like, let's say, bad food combining. You ate a bunch of fat, then you eat watermelon, and watermelon's kind of trapped. You get melon belly, and then there's this excess of sugar that's not getting into the cell. So what does your body do? Your body urinates more often, and you can test the urine, and it has sugar in it. So that sugar didn't get into cells. You're not being fueled properly. So that's an issue. So for me, being in that state of constantly urinating all the time, the body also has to take its own reserves of minerals, enzymes, bacteria to properly process that sugar out of the body. So every time that you're losing the sugar, you're also losing some of your minerals. And I was just mineral like depleted as could be. I was going to the hospital. The reason I was going is because my electrolytes were so out of balance. And fruit, even though fruit has minerals, the best way to get enough minerals with fruit is to eat enough or eat a good amount. And I couldn't handle enough of that. But vegetables and green juices are high in minerals. So to replenish a little bit, like I would drink those and I would feel normal again, because now I'm getting some sodium, which is naturally occurring, and now I'm getting some minerals, and now I'm getting some of the other factors that I was missing. Because on Robert Morse's protocol, I was like, if I drink a green juice or I eat a salad, my detox is going to stop and I won't heal. And the problem with that is you can heal by like water fasting, taking everything out, or fruit fasting, but eventually you have to put things back in. And so so a green juice, let's say even celery juice has a higher ratio of natural occurring sodium. That's why all these people are seeing all these benefits to doing the celery juice, because a lot of people are really depleted. A lot of people are really starving for that sodium, but not salt, but the sodium, so that their sodium potassium pump can work properly. You know, a lot of people's adrenals are really compromised, and the adrenals are like allow those sodium potassium pumps to release at the right ratio. Because if you're healthy, you only need so much sodium, your body will function purely perfectly fine. But if your adrenals are thrashed, and I have clinical adrenal fatigue, your body will over release on sodium, so you can have low blood sodium, which is very dangerous. You could die from that. And that's one of the reasons I was getting brain swelling and inflammation, because my sodium was dropping so low. And so it's just easier to get the minerals and sodium from the greens and green juices than fruits. I see as more as like nourishing and fuel and energy and those types of things. But what goes into a good green juice, or the perfect ratio? I really like the lemon ginger blast. It's got the celery, so you got the high amount of sodium. You got the cucumber, which is like the silica and the high hydration. You got the apple, so you get a little bit of sugar, tastes good, and gives you some of that fuel. Cilantro binds and helps to remove heavy metals. You got the ginger and the turmeric, good soothe digestion, inflammation, open up blood vessels. Lemon, lemon is just so toning and squeezing and cleaning. That's a simple one. That's my go-to. I love it.
Awesome. And you said you drink green juice all day. Do you eat any whole fruits? You said you eat a salad for dinner as well.
It depends. There's times where I do like a protocol, where if my fat is higher, I don't tend to eat fruit. I think it's a bad idea to have a high amount of fat and a high amount of sugar together. If they're both relatively lower, I don't think it's too much of an issue. But I tend to go through phases. Like the other day, I still had the salad and I ate, 10 apples, organic Honeycrisp apples. But it's more common for me to do the juice all day and do the salad, or do like some green juice and do fruit all day. I usually switch between those two. And if I'm really like wanting fruit, I'll eat it. And if I'm really just craving salads, I'll go for that. But as long as it's like a food that I think is going into my body and not doing more harm than good, I'll eat it and drink it.
And after having done the green juice for over 100 days, did you find that eating whole fruit became easier on digestion, or is it still uncomfortable?
So yeah, this is my favorite part of that 100 days. That 100 days was green juice and salads and enzymes and things. So before I did that, I told you I was having those gallbladder issues, to where if I had one apple, the stress on the digestion could cause an attack. Now I can make a salad, and I wasn't during that 100 days, I wasn't doing fat. Now I can make a salad, tons of greens. Like my bowl is like a family sized bowl. Like I eat huge amounts. And I'll do a ton of greens. I'll do like 3 or 4 avocados. I'll do almond coconut yogurt. I'll do the Pyridine protein hummus thing, olive oil. I'll stack up like 200 grams of fat, and no issue, no inflammation. I didn't have to get my gallbladder removed. I'm very happy about that. And night and day. And the other thing was my teeth. During that same time, when I would eat the apple, all of my teeth hurt so bad. They were so sensitive. The enamel being like a little worn and stuff like that. And now, I could eat 20 apples, and even though it's got some of that acidity, it doesn't hurt, and my teeth aren't like hurting really badly like they were. Like I would go to bed and my teeth would just be like, oh, but they weren't cavities. It was just the enamel. But yeah, now so much better. And that's the thing. I'm scratching the surface of my body's potential. Like it's not like I'm running around doing marathons saying, hey, I feel the best I've ever felt. I have so much work to do, but that's what's exciting. If I'm at 10% of how good I could feel, the motivating thing is at 20%, you're like, wow, I feel even better. And there's just more room to grow. So people are like, how do you stay motivated? It's like, it's just getting better and better. How would you not be motivated?
I love that. And you mentioned that earlier on in your journey, you experimented or followed the protocol that incorporated some teas and herbs and tinctures. Is that something
Yep.
that you've continued to incorporate in your life or ever intend to use?
Definitely. I think Robert Morris's herbs are really, I think they taste amazing. I think they really work. I'm not sure where you fall on with the whole kidney filtration thing. But there's this belief that if your kidneys filter, you filter out lymph, which is what's stagnant in your body. I don't know exactly what the truth is. I don't claim to know the complete truth, but my experience when I was doing Robert Morris's protocol, eventually I started getting kidney filtration as soon as I started using his kidney herbs. And every day I would do my daily walk, and then I would check my urine to see if there was any filtration, which is like a white filmy kind of substance, like particles, like a snow globe if you shook it. And so I had this mouth infection, but when I went to go check, and when I urinated in this jar, I checked it, and the entire 32-ounce jar was just white. It's like it didn't even look like urine, and all the infection, all the inflammation went away as soon as I did that. So I don't necessarily know exactly what happened, but it seems from my experience that there's some truth in that. And I'm definitely interested in using his herbs and using teas and using a fruit diet as well as like part of a protocol. And just right now, though, my focus is more on building because I was caught up in a lot of that type of cleaning for so long. I really just want to give my body what it's really wanting, and what I'm doing right now is what it's really wanting. But I intend to be on lots of bananas and apples and doing ultra marathons in the next 5 to 10 years. So yeah, I don't think I would just be doing it on green juices and salads.
And how important is it to you to reach the 160-pound mark? What I mean is to say, if you were to stay 150 pounds, but achieve
Hmm.
that level of strength that you desire, what is the most important to you?
Yeah, so 160 is more of just feels like more wiggle room, if anything. 150 has always been my normal adult weight. And like I said, even at 150, I was very strong before. Strength and health is way more important to me than that weight goal. But being that skinny mentally, 112 pounds, I have a desire to not swing in that direction. I wouldn't mind being a little more weight, more muscle. It's not that it's completely necessary, but it's nice to, oh, I'm 160, I dropped a little weight, it went down to 155. It's not as big a deal. But if, let's say, I'm 145, I just dropped 5, it feels like I'm swinging in that direction I don't want to go in. So it's more about just having more breathing room, feeling strong, and 150 is fine with me, but it would be cool to go up a little more and just gain that strength that comes with that as well.
And as you've shared your journey with health and wealth, it also, had a little bit of a love story in there
Mhm.
as well. And you mentioned that you are working on self-love and you're looking for your queen. What are you looking for in a queen for all the ladies listening?
What am I looking for in a queen? Well, first, I know that I need to become the king that I am to be able to find, maintain, and sustain a woman that powerful. The people that know me, I think they would agree that I have a pretty good sense of integrity. I'm pretty open about being vulnerable, being honest, being empathetic to people. I really try to steer away from thinking I completely know better or wanting to tell people what to do or how to feel, because I used to come from that. I used to come from a place of anger and control and resentment and holding grudges. And I now really appreciate the people that can be very honest, who can be vulnerable, and who can work with me to get to a desired result. I think desired outcome is huge. Like, a lot of people have an ideal in how things should happen, but then their ideal is unattainable. But if you have a desired outcome where both people are just wanting the best for themselves and each other, I think that that's something you can really work at. So ideally, let's see if I could paint a queen for myself, someone who has her own goals, who has a strong sense of self, who's highly motivated to better herself in a relationship, work with me in bettering the relationship. Like, I feel like if one person is more interested in growing and the other one isn't in tune to that, it's going to either stunt one's growth, or it's going to just become like there's going to become resentment and things. It would be ideal to have someone who's really into becoming healthier and just being surrounded with people who really lift you up and support you and who bring the best out of you. I actually was dating someone a little before this podcast, and one of the things that she brought up was like, it seemed like when you were at Pranic, or you were at your friends were over staying living with me, that I just felt like very confident and very like energized and all these things. And it was like, because these types of people like really seem to bring the best out of me. And it's not like I want to feed off of their energy, but I think it's like we all fed off each other's energy in like a healthy way. Like, we all brought each other up. We're there for each other in a way that wasn't, there was no expectation. It was more just like, hey, I'm here for you if you need it. And that kind of support is like the best, because then it's not like you have to be someone in order to bring these people into your life. It's just like they're there for you and you're there for them. I want like a best friend in a partner. I want someone who literally is like, we could watch a movie together, we could go for a walk together, we could talk politics together, we could eat clean together, we can anything. Like, I just love that ride or die, Bonnie and Clyde, be there for each other mental. Like, that's what I'm looking for.
I love that what you've shared, AJ, is really just so holistic. It's not just about gaining weight, it's not just about making money, it's not just about finding love. It's how all of these aspects of your life weave together and work together to create the best version of yourself. And something that you mentioned that we didn't touch upon yet was your hot and cold showers and your ice baths. Where does
Oh
that all
yeah,
fit in?
they're so fun. I'm sure you know who Wim Hof is. Do you know who Wim Hof is? So I met him in 2016 in Brooklyn, and before that, I was watching his videos and doing his breath work. And the height of my ability to hold my breath with no air in my lungs was like 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And he claims that after a minute and 30 seconds, your body just starts shutting down inflammation as time goes on, more and more and more and more and more. So I had 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that linear inflammation shutdown. And I started doing the cold showers, and they're brutal in the winter. But I've done them on and off since then. And then recently, my brother has been wanting to do ice baths as well. And so I got into it. I started off doing 20 cold water, filled in the tub up, doing 20 pounds, and I could last a minute. And I'm like freaking out cold. It's so cold. And then I worked my way up to 7 minutes with 20 pounds. Then we doubled it to like 30 or 38 pounds or something. I did 1 minute, then the next, I do it once a week. Then I did 3 minutes, then I did 7 minutes. And now we're at 54 pounds. I'm at 7 minutes, but I'm not ready to move on yet. And I go fully under and everything, and I sit there, and it's really cold, especially now that it's getting colder out. The pipes here get cold, so the water itself is getting colder. but I have that goal to work up to 100. It's just an arbitrary goal. I could keep at this amount of ice probably for a while and still see the benefit. But I used to take ice baths in high school when I played soccer, and it would just bring all the lactic acid and inflammation down so much, and you just feel brand new. You could be as sore as like humanly possible. Go take that ice bath and you feel like a new person. Like it just squeezes all that lactic acid and like gets, and then when you get out, your legs turn bright red and you're on fire in a good way. It's like you're just getting hot, the body's heating up, and just increase inflammation. I think it's good mentally because it's I'm doing something that I don't want to be doing, but it feels really good after the fact. So it's like increasing my motivation. Or is that the right word? Like mentally, I feel like I'm getting stronger because I'm doing something I don't want to be.
And do you feel that there are any negative consequences or undesired results from the ice baths or from the green juice or from any of these practices that you've incorporated into your life?
Definitely. So the ice baths, I would say people can take it way too far. Like I could jump up another like 40 pounds, but I could cause some issues there. Like your body, it can be hard for it to reheat and all these things. That's why I'm really trying to take my time. You should warm up before. So I definitely would take your time with anything along those lines. If people have circulation issues, they have diabetes, be careful because circulation's an issue with diabetes. People lose their hands and feet for a reason. But if you do your due diligence and you take your time and you build up, I think it can be really helpful to a lot of people with the ice baths and stuff, or at least cold showers. I don't think that's an issue really at all. Maybe just start with 30 seconds, work your way up. Now, the green juice, there's a big problem with the green juice. So my bills are my rent, my car insurance, my gas, my electric, my phone bill, my internet bill. I spend more on green juice than all those things combined. So it's keeping me from having this very rich lifestyle for sure. I spent $54 on my food and drink yesterday, and that's not too off what it usually is. I'd say I probably spend anywhere from 20 to 50 to $60 a day, and I don't go out to eat, and I don't drink beer, and I don't smoke cigarettes, and I feel like my vice is the green juice.
For
So
someone
yeah.
who is used to eating out, maybe they pick up a sandwich for lunch and get takeout for dinner. It's not far off. So it really just depends on what
Right, it's a
someone is
priority.
used to. Yeah, as far as budgeting for nutrition.
But when I was eating bananas and rice, it was like $50 a week, not a day. So that was nice.
Yeah. Can you juice bananas?
I would make a smoothie.
Yeah. I've always wondered that. Maybe I'll try today.
Good luck. I don't think you get much.
So, AJ, before we wrap up our interview, is there anything else that you would like to share or any parting words of wisdom for our listeners today?
Yeah, so eating well does not have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be so pure or any of these things. If you could take small steps towards working towards better health, you're gonna see them right away. A lot of people like to paint this picture that it's gonna be years before you get to where you want to be, and that may be true, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be years of sacrifice and years of hardship. You're going to see benefit within the first week, the first month, which is going to propel you forward to making better decisions. So don't feel down about it. Don't feel like, the weight's coming off too slowly. It's probably coming off too slowly if you're doing the wrong thing, or it's or it's just going to be that way. There's so many tools now. Like a lot of people like to harp on the fact that we're in 2020 pollution is terrible, everything with the environment's terrible, the food's all polluted. It's like we live in this time where you have so much opportunity. You know, you are able to know so much more about health and about how to be efficient and take care of yourself. And like green juice is an example of that. You know, 100 years ago, I probably wouldn't be able to like just have green juice all the time. So that's like a great thing. Or there's like different supplements and tools and exercises that are available. You know, go on YouTube, research like, you know, like the 4-minute workout is a great step. Waking up and just having 32 ounces of good water, the best that you can get, is a great step. Eating 3 or 4 apples a day, having an apple before each meal, if you have 3 meals, is going to really improve your digestion. Going to sleep is huge for your hormones, and your hormones dictate weight and metabolism and all these different things. So sleep is a huge one. Properly getting rest. Get a shower filter. As soon as I got a shower filter, my skin stopped being dry. All that fluoride or whatever chlorine in there is a huge one. Turn your Wi-Fi box off at night. I started dreaming as soon as I started doing that. Not messing with my sleep cycle. Remove chemicals from your hygiene and from your cleaning. 7th generation detergent or any of these natural ones are the same price, but they don't give you panic attacks. Get a shampoo and conditioner that's more along the lines of organic. Brush with like something that's a little cleaner, so you're not adding the chemicals to your body. More fruits and vegetables, more green juices. Doesn't even have to be fresh that you made. There's different brands at Whole Foods, 48 ounces, like the Sujas, that are all organic greens. Yeah, it's in plastic. Yeah, it's lightly pasteurized, but compare that to, you know, a breakfast sandwich. Go to 7-Eleven. They have organic cold pressed green juices as well. Organic cold pressed green juice in glass, 2 of them for $5. That's the green juice that actually got me out of the hospital because I was too sick to try to make my own anyway. And that's the thing, like, make it to where you're enjoying it. If you don't like the skin on an apple, but you'll eat apples, take the skin off, because of course there's benefits in the skin, but if you're weighing it like again against these other things, like people are so caught up in the fact that I'm buying expensive water or I'm taking the skin off my apple, but I'm eating an apple at the end of the day. I'm not eating a cheeseburger. So find what's important, find something to work towards, because you have something to work towards, then you have a vision, then you can have like a roadmap to where like, you know where you want to go. I actually will check off on my calendar every day that I've been, like, let's say raw or mostly raw, so it motivates me. Oh, I'm 200 days in, imagine where I'm when I'm 500 days in. I believe in meditation, but what I believe in more is sitting with, like, I'll either lay down or just sit here and think about the things that really scare me. And I feel like that's how you actually process an emotion. I came up with the 10% rule, which is no matter what I make, I save 10%, because we can all live with 10% less money. So if I make $1,000 a week, every week I'm saving $100. And maybe that doesn't sound like much to most people, but at the end of the year, it's nice to have $5,000 that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And there's always a reason to spend that money. So I think that's a pretty good rule. Same thing, I save my change. And another thing is I can get really caught up in the fact of how much I spend on food, but as I'm feeling better, I can make more money. You know, I can have better relationships with people. I can have a better home. I can have a better life. And I'm just looking for better. I want to get better and better and better and stronger and healthier and make more money and travel more and have more people in my life and just have closer connections. And yeah, it's I'm gonna send you a picture, Lexi, before and after me last year and this year. And I just think that in a year's time, I've made so much progress. I can't imagine another year. I can't imagine 5 years. Of course, there's gonna be the dips and all that, but I'm ready to start living my life again. Like, I'm really excited about it.
Yay! I'm so excited with you, AJ. And that's why I've called this the healthy dynamic life, because it really is an upward spiral. It just keeps getting better so that we can live our most vibrant life to our fullest potential. So Thank you so much for taking the time today, sharing your story, your experience, and your advice.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always so much fun.
Absolutely. And thank you to everyone who has chosen to listen. I appreciate you, and I hope you learned something from this time. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up or sharing this with someone who might get value from it as well. So thank you, and have a happy, healthy, and dynamic day.
Take
Bye.
care.